Daily Mentoring Moments with Barbara, where one thought can change your life.
Hello, this is Barbara Littles with Daily Mentoring Moments, and today I want to up-level your leadership. Now, those of you that know me know that I love leadership. And that means a lot of change. But I want to talk to you today about leaders who fail to make decisions. And this can be very frustrating for your team, for your organization, for your company, and even for yourself in failing to make decisions. And where does that come from? Where does that come from, this failure to make decisions? We'll wait and see. Sometimes it's good to wait and see, and sometimes you're avoiding the responsibility of making a decision. I had a boss one time that he was CEO of a company, and there were times when he just would not make a decision. And he would wait and see how a certain thing would play out. Now, what I noticed though, there were times when he made very quick decisions. So the fact that I thought, when I didn't hear him make a decision, that he had made a decision, actually, when I think back about it, he had already made a decision. His decision was, this is the option of what could happen if I don't say anything and just let it ride. Or I could say something and I can direct what's going to happen. And what I realize now, there were times when he had already made a decision to let it ride because he could predict with high probability what the outcome would be. Sometimes that's not the case though. Sometimes we don't make decisions for several reasons. One is that we don't trust ourselves. We don't trust our ability to achieve the outcome that we want to achieve based on our decisions. Now, that is something as a leader that you absolutely have to get past. Even if you don't receive the outcome that you expect, you get as much information as you can. You don't wait forever, and then you make a decision. Secondly, it's either we don't trust ourselves, or secondly, we don't trust the people around us. Wow. Now, that causes us to really look at the leadership and the people that we lead and the team that we have, the friends that we have, and realize that your failure to make a decision as a leader may be that you don't trust the people that you're working with. You don't trust them to have your back. You don't trust them to come up with a solution if there is a problem. You don't trust them to remain loyal. You don't trust them to see it through to the very end. Okay? So that's number two. Number three, we're afraid of failure. We're afraid of failure. And let me tell you something, my friends. If you are afraid of failure, then you are not going to be able to handle success, because success is on the other side of failure. It's on the other side of failure. I consider what I, a couple of weeks ago, had an epic failure. An epic failure. And, I'm used to preparing for the things that I'm doing, but I had a training that didn't go the way I had planned for it to go. I had some technical issues. There were some issues with my slides. It really discombobulated me. And I really knew that training did not go well. And of course, for a while, I really beat myself up for it, but it only lasted maybe 10 minutes. And 10 minutes was too long. Before I thought, what were you supposed to learn from this, Barbara? And so I sat down and I extracted the lessons from what I considered to be an epic failure. And I realized that what was an epic failure, that I considered to be an epic failure, was actually a win. One of the things I realized when I sat down and thought about it, that I had violated one of the number one rules that I have when I'm training or I'm presenting, and that is that day, that morning, that afternoon before, I do not take any meetings. That day I made an exception. Not only did I make an exception that day, but I allowed that meeting, with someone else's meeting, I allowed that meeting to run longer than it was scheduled to last, because I thought, I have some time. But what I forgot in that moment was the mental energy that it takes to go from one thing where you are actually thinking through things to another thing where you are actually pouring out. So there were some things that I learned because I sat down and I said, okay, you can walk away from this and consider an epic failure, or you can take what is actually a failure and you can process it into a learn. What did you learn? I learned a lot that day. And so I'm saying to you today, you must be, if you're going to lead, you've got to not be afraid of failure. And 4, you may feel like if I make a decision, there's no one to blame but me. The buck stops here. It stops at the top. But that's the difference between people who lead and people who follow. So my friend, today, I want you just to really think about making decisions. Make your decisions with the best information that you have available. Make them quickly. Back up your decisions and move on. And if by chance it wasn't the right decision, process it, learn from it, and move on. This is Daily Mentoring Moments with Barbara.